Welcome in to Inside Carolina Postgame Live. You are looking live. I'm your host, Ross Martin. This is Sean Drone.
What's up, guys?
North Carolina defeats Virginia 59-39 to advance to go move to two. Sorry, I'm putting this right there. To go to 2-1 on the season. A big win for UNC.
Big win.
ACC Coastal Division win. Kind of changed the arc of the season here. An offensive powerhouse. Let's run through some stats here before we get into it. UNC 59-39 over Virginia. They had 307 yards through the air with Sam Howell, 392 yards on the ground with Ty Chandler with 198. We're going to talk a lot about Ty Chandler. And then in the air, UNC had 307 yards. And honestly, Virginia had a great offensive game too. Virginia had 553 yards through the air, a Virginia record, I believe, but in a losing effort. Inside Carolina Postgame Live brought to you by Blue Shark Vodka, the smoothest vodka in the world. We're going to talk about them more later. Connor Barth, a partner with them, is part with Inside Carolina Live. Check out Blue Shark Vodka. I had some before the game, a Blue Shark pina colada. The tailgate, it was great.
You get fancy and fancy every week.
That's right. Blue Shark Vodka. Appreciate y'all watching in Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. Sean, your initial takeaways. I know you're pretty happy about the run game.
Did you see the smile?
That's right. We're all happy here. What did you think about the team overall before we get into our players of the game, our plays of the game, and our major takeaways?
Overall, initial takeaway, we came out strong. Came out super strong. Shout out to the fans, man. We came out strong with the fans as well. Played a key part in the game early on with some penalties. But initially, the run game. That's what I'm excited, man. The best I've seen them play. I mean, all year up to this point. I mean, Ty Chandler, of course, and Caleb Hood came out, and they were running with a purpose tonight. So that stood out early on. So that was huge for me.
Yeah, I think overall UNC checked all the boxes in terms of having a balanced attack with the run game and pass game. Both those things kind of worked together. It kind of had flashes of last year and the year before where you had both of those things working together, playing off each other, connecting on deep passes, big chunk yard run plays with Ty Chandler, and the defense kind of coming out and making plays. The defense wasn't great by any measure, but made enough plays to give UNC a chance there. And then we'll talk about this more, the takeaways. I mean, getting this win at this point in the season after the bad performance against Virginia Tech, I think was huge to get UNC back on track. Absolutely. And now things are they're looking up because you got, I think, it's Georgia Tech next, and then Duke. So you have kind of two easier games before October hits with Florida State.
We don't call them easy.
And Miami.
Every game is
Duke's pretty bad.
And they're going to play us hard, though.
That's right.
They're going to play us hard.
But let's say not as challenging games left. Okay, let's get into our plays of the game. We went through our early takeaways, balanced offense, explosive plays, all those things, running and passing game. Let's go to our plays of the game before we get more into our players of the game. And the plays of the game, guys, new sponsor alert is Jimmy's Famous Seafood up in Maryland. Huge Carolina fan. Shout out to Jimmy's Seafood.
Jimmy.
They've sponsored Dawson Garcia on the basketball team. They sponsor Amanda Baycott. They have shipping to everywhere, and once I think you spend $100, you get free shipping anywhere in the U.S. Mm-hmm. They have crab cakes. They have full crab dinners, steamer baskets. You can go to jimmysfamousseafood.com, their online store, and order things for the tailgate, for home. So shout out to Jimmy's Seafood.
Pretty good, too.
Tons of great crab dips, crab cakes, anything crab and seafood related. Jimmy's Seafood. We'll talk about that a little more at the end, but shout out to the new sponsor, Jimmy's Seafood. Yep. Right to our plays of the game. And it's going to be kind of weird here because one of them is a negative play. But I'm going to start off with Downs' touchdown catch. He had two in the first quarter. That diving one that was reviewed was my play of the game. Mm-hmm. It was an amazing play. And his first touchdown was amazing too.
Right.
Two early touchdowns. That diving one was like, all right, we're back. Sam's back. Confidence catch by Downs. It put UNC up. That massive first quarter by him. I thought that play by Downs just shows what kind of playmaker he is. We can make that play for your quarterback. You kind of put it up there, and I thought that was awesome.
Right.
The interception.
Yeah. I was, I kind of talked to y'all about it. I was kind of sad to see Conley not playing up to the way he's been playing the last 2 weeks, but of course because of his injury, I think. But he came in towards the end of the game and made a big play. I mean, they were up But it put another staple in the game to say, we're here. I mean, defense kind of got shredded, early in the game, late in the game as well. But, for him to come in and take that bright spot again and make a big play like he's been making, I was happy to see him come in and make that play.
Yeah, this is Ja'Qurious Conley's interception. I think it was at the end of the third or beginning of the fourth.
Yeah.
When we were leaving to come to the studio, but it kind of put his fourth quarter, producer John says, kind of wrapped up the game. Oh, third quarter. Three fingers from John there. Three-finger special there from producer John. I like Conley's interception was huge, his second interception of the game, but also he kind of made up for a lot of the cornerbacks' mistakes and a lot of the run defense mistakes by just getting tackles, kind of what you want your safety to do. He played well.
He didn't play a lot in the box like they had him either. I mean, I don't know whether it was, schemed up or it was because of his injury. But again, I mean, he was still a solid presence here tonight. So.
And we're talking about Conley. He played with his left hand in a cast. It didn't look like it was a huge club.
He still had his fingers out.
He did. So he had a little cast on. So we're thinking maybe a wrist injury or some sort of hand injury. Not a doctor here on Inside Carolina Postgame Live. And my other play of the game is the one that happened in the second quarter. It was Sam Howell's interception. Was it a deep passing play?
No, that was right on the goal line, the red zone.
1st and 5 in the red zone, about to score. We're about to go up by more there. He threw there were two players running. He was late to the throw. It was ran back to definitely our UNC's area. It shifted momentum.
It did. Huge.
And then UVA scored on that possession. And they went up in the second quarter, 28-24. Shifted the momentum at halftime. I don't know if you were going around the stadium like you were.
It was depleted. It was for sure. I mean, everybody like not again. Like Sam, throw that type of interception with him just trying to force something. But that speaks volumes about our team. The way they responded to that. I mean, going into halftime, we were still a little dead, but they came out in the second half and came back with a vengeance like they did in the first. So
yeah, that was a huge momentum shift. I mean, because everything was going UNC's way. We're about to score, and then they got the interception, went the other way, and they scored. So it was a 14-point switch, put UVA up 28-24. And you were wondering where it was going to go.
Where it was going to go from there.
Fortunately, UNC came out in the third quarter. I thought the defense stepped up. We're going to talk about that a little more. The defense made some adjustments. They held Virginia to, I think, only 3 points up until kind of the end of the fourth quarter where things got a little loose. So the right changes were made at halftime, and that big second quarter by UVA didn't really affect the third and fourth quarter. John, you good on plays of the game? Anything else? Good on that? Okay, moving along. Players of the game. And guys, player of the game brought to you by Blue Shark Vodka, the smoothest vodka in the world. Let me bring up the read here. A small family-owned vodka company in Wilmington and Wrightsville, North Carolina. It's made from sweet North Carolina corn, so it's local North Carolina farms, and they're Carolina fans. Got the blue bottle here, great for a tailgate. An accessible price point and available in all 100 counties. I went to a couple of tailgates today. I went to 2 different tailgates. They both had the handle of Blue Shark Vodka. It was great to see them supporting Connor Barth and the local people at Blue Shark Vodka. Last night, a couple nights ago, I had a little Blue Shark Vodka, a little basil, a little cucumber,
you get real fancy,
a little lime,
pina colada,
fresh. Yeah, I didn't make the pina colada. Some lady made that. But I made a little cocktail, a little muddled cucumber, a little basil, a little lime juice, a little seltzer, and Blue Shark Vodka. It's very versatile. It's accessible. So Blue Shark Vodka, shout out to them.
So you basically had a salad, and then you put it.
Well, you muddle it up. Yeah, cucumber, basil, you got me there, and then you filter it out. But it's so versatile because you can put it in anything.
Healthy choice, Ross.
There you go.
I'm proud of you.
That's North Carolina basil too. All right, players of the game. Let's go to Sean here, and then we'll talk about the running game.
Man, I can't stop smiling about the run game. Ty Chandler, man, he took over tonight. I mean, huge. I mean, I think in the run game also what we did that we haven't done in the weeks past is that we got our backs on the edge. We kind of try to force the inside runs early on the first 2 weeks, but we got our guys on the edge, had the linemen running, getting the edge for the backs. They're making one cut and they're gone.
Yeah.
And Todd Chandler did a lot of that tonight. He ran inside between the tackles and outside the tackles, which was I hadn't really seen from him. And he ran with a purpose tonight.
20 carries, a lot of carries. He had those chunk plays, which we haven't seen.
Talked about it last week. How we needed to. I mean, our pass game was there last week, but we didn't have the run game. And we talked about how it needed to be balanced, and that's how we can run away with teams, how we did tonight. And I mean, those explosive plays. I mean, we had. I lost count, but we got them from both ends, the pass game and the run game, and from both running backs.
Yeah, when you have a run for 15 plus yards, I think is what they call. I think a 12-yard run is considered an explosive play. Those are back-breaking plays for the defense. When you get that first down, you get a third down, and just puts you ahead of the chains. Yeah, and I thought Caleb Hood looked pretty good.
Caleb Hood, he really did.
He had 1 touchdown, I believe, in the third quarter, 9 rushes, 66 yards.
Seemed like he had more. I think those. Well, I guess he only had 9 carries, so for 66. So he averaged quite a bit. What, 7 yards?
7.3 yards per carry. Ty Chandler averaged 9.9 yards per carry. Much of that because of those big, explosive plays. What else about the run game stood out? I mean, they were rotating offensive linemen.
And we talked about it last night. I was like, why people don't rotate the linemen? I mean, I think tonight they kept them fresh, but I also think it was because Azudu didn't practice. Emerson didn't practice all week, so it was probably kind of allowing the guys that practiced to kind of feel their way through it and also keep them fresh, which I thought was a great call by the coaches.
Yeah, we haven't seen them rotate offensive linemen much. They did tonight. I think William Barnes played a lot. I don't think Tucker didn't start, but he played some. Azudu played some. Anderson didn't play a lot. I think Quarion Johnson played a lot too. So you're getting more offensive linemen. I want to ask this week, as I cover the team, kind of what happened there and what went into kind of the offensive line rotation. Okay, my player of the game, I'm going Josh Downs and Sam Howell. 7-11, always open.
7-11.
Sam Howell, passing game 14 for 21 for 307 yards. Not super prolific in terms of the amount of passes, but very efficient.
Very
5 touchdowns. And then you look at his rushing yards. Again, passes for over 300 yards and over 100 yards rushing. He had 15 carries for 112 yards, a long of 20. And 7.5 yards. He made some great running plays, some design run plays. What did you see out of kind of his design runs or just how he ran?
Tonight, I didn't see what I saw last week, but he still made efficient plays. Like, when his number was called, and I'm not sure if those were design plays. I know one of them, he kind of made
some like a reads, right?
With the reads. It was kind of slow with the reads, in my opinion. But when the run was there for him to make, he made them. I mean, he was efficient. I don't know what he averaged, but he was definitely efficient on his run.
7.5 yards per carry. So he's becoming a running threat. I mean, when he gets the ball, they have to respect him. And he can get a first down.
Right.
All right, John. Producer John's player of the game. He was going back and forth to see if he sticks with who he said before the game ended.
I wanted to call someone out on the defense. Anytime the defense gives up 39 points, that's not a great performance, but they got enough done tonight. So my defensive player of the game is Tamon Fox. First of all, it's really cool to see him get a play with his brother, Tamari Fox. Tamon finished with 1 sack and 4 QB hurries. There were some big plays in the third quarter where he stepped up. UNC needed a spark defensively in the second half, and Tamon helped provide it.
There you go. Producer John, always bringing the heat. It's hard to really compliment the defense when they give up a record-setting offensive pass performance by Brandon Armstrong, 554 yards. Sorry, that kind of brings to the point that we were talking about earlier. The defensive backs got a little bit picked on.
Yeah, they did.
Storm Duck was back. I mean, Kyle Michael gave a big pass play. I think Tony Grimes gave a big pass play. Don Chapman.
Was getting kind of toasted in the slot a little bit.
When you give up that many yards, you can't really compliment.
I guess in hindsight, they didn't give up a bunch of rushing yards. So that's a highlight in and of itself. I mean,
that's crazy. I just looked at it. 22 rushing attempts for 21 yards.
Yeah, so I mean, your passing yards are up there. I mean, you had to.
Yeah.
They didn't allow them to run the ball. So I mean, that speaks good about the defensive.
I didn't even realize that. I'm not sure what kind of running game Virginia had coming into it, but they only had 21 yards rushing. That's pretty impressive. So kudos
who
to
their running back was. I watched the game last week, but
spread it around. Yeah, but kudos to the UNC defensive line and linebackers.
Yeah,
we want to talk about Cedric Gray.
Oh yeah, he came in and made some big plays. I mean, he flashed early too. I mean, I don't know whether because he hadn't been playing, but I mean, he did make. I don't know how many tackles he had.
It was up there.
Producer John.
Yeah,
but
Gray had 6 tackles. He came in for
couple
Eugene
pass
Asante.
breakups.
So he kind of plugged in for Eugene Asante, and we don't think he was injured or anything.
Nah.
So Cedric Gray.
Bigger body.
Yeah, longer, bigger body.
Yep.
Producer John.
Gray also had that big pass breakup in the end zone. He prevented a Virginia touchdown. So that's another thing that he brings. If he can hold up in pass coverage, that's very big for these spread offenses that UNC is going to face.
Yeah.
Great. Let's get some questions in, guys. Bring your questions in on YouTube and Facebook. If you have any questions on topic, off topic about this team, big win for UNC, 59-39 over Virginia in Keenan. And while we let these questions come in, let's talk about the atmosphere.
They showed up tonight.
Another 7:30 game, so the third night game in a row for UNC. We were walking around. We saw each other like 3 times during the tailgate.
Yeah.
It was rocking. Student section was packed. And you think that had an effect on the game a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, early on they had 3 false starts, 2 false starts in the
first quarter,
first drive. So I mean, hats off to the fans, man. We don't always get it rocking like that.
Yeah.
So
I'll say this: when Keenan's packed and it's rocking, it's a great football atmosphere.
Yeah,
feels great. It's beautiful. You're in the woods, in the forest there, and the lights are there. It feels great. So when you have a winning team and something to cheer for, UNC fans bring it.
They got something to cheer for now. Man, we look like the hyped ranked team we were supposed to be.
Yeah, it's a big win considering kind of the way Virginia came in 2-0 with 2 big wins.
Right.
And we took it to them. We lost 4 games in a row to Virginia. So the 5th one, UNC wins, and Coach Brown gets his first win against Virginia back in Chapel Hill. John, do we have any questions?
We have a question on YouTube from Ryan. He's asking, Sean, did the running backs do a better job setting up their offensive line for blocks or just a lot of movement up front? What do you think can you get into the weeds a little bit of what the offensive line did to help the running backs and vice versa?
I think they did a little bit of both. I mean, I think the offensive line were challenged. I think their coaches challenged them last week, and that's really what happened. In a combination of the running backs. I mean, like I said, Ty and Caleb, they ran with a purpose tonight. Like I didn't see that the first 2 weeks from Ty. He was on a different level this week. I don't know what it was, but I think it was a combination of both, the offensive line. And like I said earlier, I think we tested the outside zone a lot more this week, and it was successful. In the weeks past, we've been running a lot of powers, a lot of pulling guards, and we were just getting beat on those blocks. And wasn't getting up to the second level to give the backs any chance for an explosive run. So this week, I mean, we got on the edges, let the backs run. I mean, and Ty had some breakaway speed too. I hadn't seen.
That was impressive. I noticed that too. Like we hadn't seen that yet because he hadn't got the chance to do it, but he had some breakaway speed where he was beating people, beating defensive backs to get extra yards. He also broke some tackles, ran over some people.
Yeah.
So we saw different things out of Ty that we were expecting from this kind of highly touted Tennessee transfer, and there were definitely bigger holes.
It was tonight. I will say that. They both came out to play. Like the O-line and the running backs, they were on a totally different level tonight.
And I think that goes back. I mean, this is the 3rd week, and they've been kind of beat up in the media. Everyone's kind of talking about the O-line and the running backs. So they were challenged.
They had to get challenged.
And look, sometimes it takes some time to, these are college kids.
Right.
Take some time to get used to it, figure out what works, figure out how to play off each other. So 3rd week, things are rocking and rolling for the running game. John, any more questions from YouTube or Facebook?
There's a question on YouTube about the secondary. First of all, Storm Duck did play tonight. He had 4 tackles. But Ross and Sean, what did you see out of UNC's secondary? It looked like they got beat a couple times tonight. How can they improve in weeks coming forward?
Don't get beat.
Man, the stat speaks for itself. I mean, 554 passing yards. I mean, you can't do that consistently every week and win ball games. I mean, if they shut down the run like they did, they may have a chance to keep us in the game. But I mean, any other time, still scored 39 points.
Yeah.
So I can't speak a lot on the DBs, but I do think they could have played a lot better than they did tonight. I feel like all the rotation and I don't know whether that has any effect on them mentally. Continually in and out of the game, and they can't really get a rhythm for the game and who they're guarding. And I think we play a lot of man too.
Yeah,
which is
they play a lot of man, and they got beat. I mean, Colleague Michael got beat.
Yeah.
Storm Duck got beat. Their time, Grimes got beat. So. But there were gaps and openings, and they have a good quarterback. Brent Armstrong, one of the better quarterbacks in the country, threw for close to 600 yards against UNC. So,
and sometimes they were actually in position to make the plays as well. I mean, and Armstrong, like you said, you alluded to, he was putting that thing in the breadbasket where they can get it and where the DBs couldn't.
I'm so blown away by the rushing. I had no idea they only rushed for 21 yards.
Yeah, that was non-existent.
And I guess kind of when they came behind, they had to start throwing it a lot. But 22 rushes for 21 yards, that's less than 1 yard per rush. Yeah. John, any more questions from Facebook or YouTube? Guys, get your questions in. Got a football expert right here.
I don't know about expert. I'll give you my opinion.
There you go.
We got one more on Facebook from Nick. He's asking Sean, Josh Downs is the best wide receiver since blank. How do you think he compares to some of UNC's other wide receivers?
Ooh. That's a hard one there, man. I mean, you had Hakeem Nicks there tonight.
Yeah, did you see him?
Yeah. Talked to him before the game. That's a hard one, man.
He reminds me a lot of Ryan Switzer.
Yeah. I mean, the way they use him,
Yeah.
I think they're different players. I don't know. Yeah, they're different. I mean, I see what you're saying, but
I think Switzer has a little bit more breakaways. Sorry, I think Downs has a little more breakaway speed,
right.
But they're both shifty.
I agree with that.
Look, I mean, Diami Brown was a great receiver. We can look one more year. He was on the sideline today. Mm-hmm. He was a great deep threat, and it seems like UNC only has kind of one guy right now. I mean, Garrett Walston was UNC's second receiver with 3 catches for 15 yards.
Yeah.
Brown had that one reception for 75 yards.
Yeah.
I didn't see that. I think
he had another big drop this week.
Yeah.
I mean, he had a big drop last week. I mean, right there.
One
in
touchdown.
His hand,
He had it was a PI called, but he was still it hit him right in the chest.
Yeah, man. That's unfortunate. I hope he just seems
he's getting open.
Too inconsistent. Yeah. He has the speed to get open and just make the play.
They need him. That'd be a great addition to what Downs brings. John, any more questions from Facebook? All right, we're gonna go straight to our takeaways. Guys, we want to thank our sponsors, Blue Shark Vodka, smoothest vodka in the world, available in all 100 counties, North Carolina, and Jimmy's Seafood, our new sponsor. Go to jimmysfamousseafood.com, get your online order. They're shipping nationwide. If you buy a certain amount, you get it free. You get a whole meal for your family, for the tailgate, crab cakes, crab dip, crabs, Jimmy's Seafood. Go out, Jimmy's Seafood, jimmysfamousseafood.com. All right, our 3 takeaways. Let's start establishing the run game. Sean.
That was huge tonight, and I hope it continues. Again, having that balanced attack, we showed that we can do it. I mean, I don't know, we averaged 52 points, 50 points a game the last 2 games. But, having that balanced attack, I think will bid us well. I'm so excited about the run game. That's the only thing I keep thinking about. But, having those big explosive plays, both run and pass game, that's a big takeaway for me.
It was refreshing to see UNC establish a run game and for Ty Chandler to have a big game.
Absolutely.
I would say a big takeaway is just making enough plays on defense, the second half adjustments, holding them to, I think, 3 points in the third quarter. They had some more in the fourth quarter, but UNC's defense came to play. We talked about the sacks from Tamon Fox, from Kamen Rucker. They got some pressure when they needed to. There were some issues in the first half, especially UNC did not get much pressure on the quarterback. But there were enough plays made and some adjustments made in the second half by Jay Bateman's defense to give UNC the cushion, to get the ball back, to force them. I think they had a drive and they forced them to a field goal, and they had the interceptions. So the defense, like they need to do with this kind of offense, make enough plays to get the ball back and hold them in time.
Exactly.
And then what it means, the takeaway, what it means. I'll start on this one. We'll shoot to Sean after that. I was worried about this game. I thought if UNC lost this game, I thought Virginia was a very good team. I thought it'd be doom and gloom with just like 2 losses to Virginia and Virginia Tech. That was a massive game for just fandom, for where this team's direction is. So to come out and win like they did with an explosive offense, with establishing the run game, with Josh Downs and Sam Howell, it was huge for the psyche of this team, for moving forward to the Duke game. Georgia Tech, Duke, and then into like Florida State, Miami, Notre Dame. It sets up UNC for success, and maybe they are kind of that team we thought they are, maybe a top 15 team that can make some noise and compete for an ACC. I think the ACC championship dreams are kind of still alive. Virginia Tech lost.
Still there.
Virginia Tech, I don't think anything special.
Right.
So the Coastal, I think, can be wide open if UNC keeps winning. What do you think this kind of means for this team after 3 games? What do you think this win kind of tells you about UNC?
I mean, it solidifies that last week. I mean, we did what we should have did last week, but to come and do it against a team that we kind of worried about, I mean, that gives the team confidence moving forward. And you know, I think it's a great thing that we established what we did tonight. So
I think winning at home is big. Just get that crowd, the momentum.
Is big.
So I mean, losing this game at home under the lights would have been very, very bad. UNC avoided that, put on a show, hit on all cylinders. I think offense, run game, pass game, special teams, and on defense. John, you got anything about what this means? You're a big fan. Producer John?
I think a loss tonight to start 0-2 in ACC conference play when there was so much hype coming into this season, just that loss would have been unimaginable. So UNC stays on track. Like we talked about, UNC has a couple of easier games coming up. The season kind of feels like it's building towards that Miami game, the next big home game. I believe that's October 16th. That's going to be really exciting.
Duke's at home, isn't it?
Yes, but the next biggest home game. And if UNC comes into that game without having lost between now and then, that could be a top 25 matchup, another big Kenan Stadium night. Could be very exciting.
There you go. And they check a lot of boxes offensively. I think that confidence for offense is building too.
It also means we set the bar. We know who y'all are now. We know who y'all can be, you know, as a team. So, you know, coming out every week, if you don't put on that same performance, it's like you're going to get picked apart. But, you know, I think this is huge for them to win the way in the fashion that they did at home against a good team.
I think like in basketball, when you see the ball go in the basket, it gives you confidence. When you see you having success in the pass game, run game, blocking game, on defense, and 2 weeks in a row, it builds confidence. So heading into the Georgia Tech game in Atlanta, I think 7:30 next Saturday is big. A good chance for another win for the Tar Heels. Guys, thanks so much for watching Inside Carolina Postgame Live. Thanks to Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. We want to shout out Blue Shark Vodka, smoothest vodka in the world, and Jimmy's Famous Seafood. Get your crab cakes, get your crab dip, everything at Jimmy's Famous Seafood and Blue Shark Vodka. Inside Carolina Postgame Live. I'm Ross Martin. This is Sean Drone.